Hi guys, welcome back to Thralls of Metal. I'm Jammin' John.
Necrotic Nick.
And we are here to list off our top 25 albums of 2018. However, we figured out as we hang out and jam a lot of albums together that we had a quite an intersect on what albums we enjoyed. We found out we had 18 mutual albums.
Let's kick this shit off, man.
Let's kick this shit off with a great record to kick it off with, Aborted Terrorvision.
Fuck yes. These guys have been on a tear since Global Flatline. And once again, another incredible album.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much if you've ever jammed Aborted, you know what you're getting into. And this record is no slouch. For that means just killer, blazing fast, heavy as balls.
Technical, but still very riff-oriented. Like, there's a lot of shit you can get into here. Like, equal parts carcass worship and even, like, more just straight-up tech death. It's such a fucking awesome mix of all that shit. And Sven has one of the most killer fucking voices in death metal. That guy has such killer fucking range.
And Ken Badine is a short little powerhouse of a drummer. It's just amazing. This whole record is just killer. Please check it out.
100%.
Yep. Moving right along, Alkaloid, Liquid Anatomy.
Killer.
Holy shit.
This one I was kind of surprised by. I saw who was all on it, Hans Grossman, and I forget where the other members are from, but it's kind of a super group. And leading into it, like the first track lures you in with, it's kind of just a straight up proggy jam. It actually reminds me of like heavier Yes parts.
Yeah, kind of.
Then in the next track, you're going to straight like death metal, like a la Morbid Angel shit. And it's like, this is such a wide swath on this album.
Yep. And it'll throw you for a loop because that first track, you're like, all right, cool prog. I mean, I love prog, but cool proggy album. And then just the next track just kicks you in the balls.
Just a sick riff that carries that entire second song. And then you have a 19-minute fucking opus on here that is just so many different styles getting played. Awesome album. Catchy as fuck, too, for as technical it is.
Again, if you're a fan of tech death and even like prog, give it a spin. Moving on, we have ASG Survive Sunrise.
Absolutely awesome album. Like, in terms of stoner metal that came out this year, this is one of my favorites. So many catchy songs. The vocal harmonies on this are so beautiful. Lyrically, it's just an awesome album. Like,
reminds me of like Baroness Meets the Sword.
Yeah.
And really super catchy. There's a song on here.
Heavy Scars.
Yep, Heavy Scars. It gets stuck in my head, and then it doesn't leave. And then I have to jam it, and then it doesn't really still help. Then I have to listen to it again. But Heavy Scars.
This album is one giant earworm. Like, all these songs are catchy and get stuck in your head. And like I said, one of my favorite stoner metal bands coming out with an incredible album this year. I can't wait to hear more. I'd love to see these guys live, too.
All right. And then next,
It's a two-parter, but it counts as one.
But it counts as one. Between the Buried in Me's, Automata 1 and 2. Highly anticipated for me. I'm a giant Between the Buried in Me fan.
Same here.
They just get progressively better, in my opinion. Of course, starting at the beginning, I was not a giant fan of Silent Circus or any of that jazz or the EP. But then, of course, Alaska and then Colors, which was brilliant. Moving forth, I didn't know how they were going to beat Coma Ecliptic, but they certainly
I think
put forth a good effort.
If anything, they matched it, and this one, Coma Ecliptic was a little more simple. Simple for them. It was still super technical and fiercely proggy. This one's kind of close to Colors in the sense of the songwriting. It's definitely more adventurous.
Automata 1 definitely brings back some of the heavy moments that they'd been missing in my opinion, since probably like Colors, really.
Blot was such an awesome song on there.
Yep, Millions is a great track, and then of course they came out with the second half of it, and the second half just fucking rips.
I love the second half a little bit more, actually. Like, Voice of Trespass. Such a fun, adventurous song, like swing and then into blast beats.
Yep.
And
just heavy,
insane,
kill your mom riffs, just great stuff. Moving onward, Another heavy hard hitter, Beyond Creation's Algorythm. If you're not a Beyond Creation fan, you should be.
Yeah.
These guys are definitely know how to play their instruments and quite well.
One of the best tech death bands out there right now. I think they're also from Quebec, where apparently a lot of metal lurks there now.
Right. Not a bad song on the album.
No,
it's a great listen, start to finish. There's a lot of very pretty moments, actually.
This one saw them move a little bit more towards prog metal a bit, but it's still definitely tech death.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Strong songwriting. The bass work, of course, is just insane on here.
The guitars are blazing. It's mixed really well.
Yeah.
It sounds phenomenal in my car.
It sounds crushing and polished at the same time. You can still hear every instrument, which is kind of necessary in tech death. And just killer fucking album.
All right, moving forward. Carnation's Chapel of Abhorrence.
This album will fuck you up.
Yeah.
This is pretty
heavier than shit.
This is straight up bloodbath worship, and you should worship that band because they're awesome. It's just heavy as hell. Like, it has that gritty Swedish death metal sound. The guitars, of course, that buzzsaw stupid level of heavy.
Yep. It's got some doomy moments to it.
And the singer, the frontman, has like kind of a dead ringer for Corpse Grinder a bit, like real fucking gravelly throat.
That was kind of what I thought of when I first heard it before I knew what it was.
Killer album.
Yep. All right. Next in line, yet another wonderful pick, Conjurer
Mire.
Pretty much new to the circuit here, sans an EP that's terribly difficult to find. But Conjurer's Mire, what can I say?
Interesting mix of sludge metal and death metal, like imagine like early Mastodon, like circa Remission, and throw in like just some heavy, crunchy death metal in there.
Kind of like it kind of reminds me of like early Mastodon meets like Gojira meets kind of like The Ocean meets kind of some Intronaut moments. Very atmospheric. It's got a really huge sound to it.
There's some balls out like heavy moments that even remind me of Incantation a bit.
All right. Yet another hard hitter. Hate Eternal, Upon Desolate Sands.
This is Hate Eternal's best album yet.
Yes.
I've had issues with Hate Eternal in the past where their production was too muddy. And they just went techie for the sake of being techie and didn't really generate songs that had any hooks at all.
There was no groove to it, but there is now.
There is groove on this. It's technically precise as hell. The guitar work is insanely good. Eric Rutan did a fantastic job on this. Even poached Hans Grossman.
Yep.
And it's their best work yet.
Saw them play some of it live this year, although they had what's his name from Origin?
I can't remember his name, but
the drummer of Origin.
He was a good fill-in.
Yep.
Solid.
Yep.
And yeah, this is, like I said, this is their best album in my opinion yet. And if this is the direction they continue in, I can't wait for another one.
Next in line, Jungle Rat.
Self-titled
album.
This far in their career, they have a self-titled album. I love that. I love the fact that this is just pure throwback. Like, this was the sound of metal when I got into it in the 90s.
Yep.
It's old school death metal, no frills. It's just riffs.
And it's really just straightforward. The whole album, it's just
chuggy, catchy, fun. It's kind of self-aware of its goofiness, but it's so good. And these guys kill it live.
Yep.
Like, they're so much fucking fun live. And that's one thing that definitely sells these guys for me. I love that fucking album artwork. It's fucking killer. But yeah, self-titled for Jungle Rot, fantastic album. If you just love old school death metal, like Obituary and 6 Feet Under, except better than 6 Feet Under in my opinion.
Way better than 6 Feet Under.
Get that one.
Yep. A new one this year, new to the circuit. Letters from the Colony. Vignette, I believe.
Viginette?
Who knows? Whatever it is. It's sorry guys. It's really good. Gojira meets Morbid Angel meets kind of a genty early like Veil of Maya
like there's bits of like just kind of old like death well not really old death metal I'd say. There are parts that remind me of like early Decapitated, that real crunchy, riffy but tech-based stuff. It's heavier than hell and really smart writing, and it doesn't do the gentiness.
No.
And I appreciate the fact that there are no clean vocals on this, because
it seems to be a common thing. It seems to be a common thing for gent nowadays, is that you have clean vocals, which has its place for some bands, but I'm glad to see these guys didn't take that route, because there are, I guess what you would call some more polished, kind of cleaner moments in this where they could have taken that route and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Kept it heavy, and I dig the fuck out of it, and can't wait to hear more from them.
One of my favorites, The Ocean.
Phanerozoic 1, Paleozoic.
I'm glad you can pronounce that, because I would have fucked it up.
This is honestly probably my prog album of the year. Heady concept, once again, like always. The music is so beautifully layered. It's such an awesome blend of post-metal and prog metal. And, oh my god, like lyrically, it's gorgeous.
They even tapped the lead singer of Catatonia.
Oh, for Nascent?
Yeah.
Nascent, yeah.
Yep.
Gorgeous songwriting.
Beautiful album. It's such a great listen. It's actually a record that you could play for a lot of groups of people, because of how diverse the Ocean is with their songwriting.
Yes.
So
it's surprisingly accessible even in the more growly parts. It's very melodic, but it also has its darker undertones. Great album. Honestly, this might be one of my favorites from them. I can't wait for the second part of this.
For sure. Next in line, a great listen, Pig Destroyer's Head Cage.
This album hates you. I love it. I love it for hating me. This album hates everything. I love it.
Yeah. In fact, if you saw any of when the record first came out, they had the article that stated that the first song was meant to kind of fuck you up a little bit sonically, and it does. If you listen to it at kind of a decent volume, it kind of makes you feel weird.
It's so fucking heavy, and this was the first one they ever had a bassist on, and it added that much more heft to it. And the production was they just went for heavy on this. Which
they did.
Guitars were noticeably lower, and it's just layers of heavy just hitting you all the time.
It's just a sonic assault. All right, next in line, becoming more and more one of my favorite bands ever, Rivers of Nihil, Where Owls Know My Name. I saw these guys, twice last year? Once, twice, something like that.
I saw them twice.
You saw them twice. I saw them once. Not important. So these guys progress with every album, and they took a real interesting turn with this. They actually inducted some clean vocals into their repertoire, which sounded really good.
Motherfucking saxophone.
There's saxophones in what? I think
and it
3
works.
tracks?
It works. I was so surprised by that. I was like, that sounds corny and kitschy, but when you hear it, and you're right from the start with The Silent Life. Yeah.
Yep.
And it instantly works on this bridge. Like, they still have that, kind of tech death sound, but you hear more.
It's more of like a melodic death in parts. It's like prog death meets melodic death in parts.
There's parts in here that remind me of like Tool and Deftones, like kind of like heavy alternative stuff. It's a really awesome album, and I think they're really playing up, now. Things are, definitely changing in this band, and I think it's for the better. Awesome listen.
He had another favorite, Slugdge, Esoteric.
Mal Ecology. I may have spun this one more than any other one this year, and it is such a wild listen. Caught me off guard, too. Like, I had never heard of this band until this year, and I went out and bought all their shit. And all of it's incredible, and this new album is no exception. It's definitely more melodic and more proggy than the previous stuff, but oh my god, these songs are fucking brilliant.
Yeah, they are.
This is some of the best songwriting I've heard in metal this year, easily. Super proggy, beautiful lead work, guitar work. It's still very riff-oriented, and weird slug-oriented themes, and pun-based titles, which I love, like Crop Killer, or Slave Goo World, Salt Thrower. It's just fucking fun. This is a fucking killer album, possibly one of my favorites this year, and entirety, definitely get it. Get all their shit. It's so fucking worth it. Slugdge. Yeah.
All right. A band we're about to see on tour with Between the Buried and Me becoming increasing... again, I've always liked these guys. Sans maybe one album. But I've always liked these guys. Tesseract Sonder. I love these guys.
Now, as much as we brought up the clean vocals in Gent before, this is a band that can get away with it because they have such an exceptional singer.
Yes.
He may have a higher range, and some people don't get into that, but he's really good at it.
He's done it live. I've seen him do it live twice, and
Killer.
He hits it like nobody's business. They put on such a great show. As far as Gent is concerned, as far as atmospheric Gent is concerned, these guys just write beautiful songs time after time.
Catchy as hell.
Yeah, very, very catchy. A beautiful, beautiful listen. I can't say enough good things about Tesseract.
Awesome album. Definitely get it. Tesseract Sonder.
Hey. Tomb Mold. Manor of Infinite Forms. Holy
Fuck
shit.
me. That is a goddamn heavy album.
Sure is.
This is like pure Morbid Angel, incantation, immolation, just stupid, dense, heavy death metal.
Just when you talk about heavy albums, like what's the heaviest thing you've heard this year?
It might be that.
It's brutal as fuck.
Like this is coming on that cusp of the old school death metal movement again, and this is one of the best ones that have come out of this. It's just excellent songwriting, balances it out with groovier breakdown-ish moments, and then just pummeling blast beats.
Just punches you in the face again.
Dense, ugly atmosphere. Oh man, like you, this album lives in Cthulhu's tentacles.
Last but not least, at least for our mutual agreement here, is Yob with Our Raw Heart.
I would say that's their best album now too. That is and it's such an emotional listen too. When you consider everything he went through. Like this guy nearly died twice. And this is the album that came out after that, and these songs are gorgeous and at the same time heavy as fuck. Like, of course, the monstrous chug on the screen, which may be the heaviest chug I've heard in a while.
And it's like, what, a 13, 14-minute song?
I think that one's like 8.
8?
The one that I think is the best one is the longest song, Beauty and Falling Leaves. That one's like 16 minutes, but it really doesn't feel like that because the song is so gorgeous. And most of it is actually really soft and atmospheric. Like, this is not necessarily a move away from their earlier doomy or sludgy stuff. It's still there, but there's a lot of melody in this, and it's just gorgeous.
It's still very neurosis-y.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's, I wouldn't call it post-metal, but it definitely borders on it. It's just beautiful. This is one of my favorites that came out this year. Jammed it a whole bunch. Definitely get all of these, of course, but this one, 100%, one of the best albums of this year.
Agreed.
All right, well, that's where we all agreed.
Yep.
Now, we're going to get down to when we disagree on the next video. So.
And when we say disagree, we don't mean that we hate these picks. It means that we just didn't pick them. These were ones that didn't make the top 25 mutual, I suppose.
It also means Noonan was wrong.
Ha ha ha! It doesn't mean that at all. Fuck him.
Dead fucking wrong.
Fuck you.
Okay.
Okay.
But anyway, like, subscribe, let us know what you think. If we missed any albums on this video that you like, let us know. Who knows, they might be on the next one.
Probably.
Catch you guys later.
Cheers.